ball is life, plain and simple. Ask any baller. If you know, you know.
The game has changed, but it's still the same. You want it, go get it.
Shazam! The inbounds pass comes into Jordan. Here's Michael at the foul line. The shot on Elo. The Bulls win! They win it!
Mike, you're honestly telling me that he's top 5.
Yeah.
Top 5 of all time.
No question about it.
Booker, this is for the win. Got it! Wow!
The ruling on the floor is made basket.
One thing's for sure. Over at Valley Sports Plug, you're never going to catch us slipping.
With the first overall pick, the Phoenix Suns select
3, 2, 1, yeah!
Welcome to Pass the Outlet, episode 20. I'm your co-host, Michael Benjamin, joined as always by my wingman, Christopher Patrick. Chris, how you doing today, man? It's a hot one here in Phoenix.
What up? What up? You got to take the good with the bad. It is hot, but the NBA offseason is also heating up. Plenty to talk about in the basketball world. I think this is like the second time in a month we've done Pass the Outlet. So I'm excited to keep things rolling, man. Let's get into it.
I love it, man. Yeah, things are cooking in the NBA. Obviously, we got the All-Star announcement for the WNBA. USA Basketball is right around the corner with the Paris Olympics just a few weeks away. And obviously, we got some housekeeping to do with the Phoenix Suns. Another pair of book ones on the way. But here on Pass the Outlet, if you are new, we talk about the beautiful game we love. Of course, that's basketball. We appreciate everyone here with us live, watching back on playback, or listening on podcast streaming services. Make sure you leave a like, leave a comment, and don't forget to subscribe. Hit that notification bell so you know when we're going live. But Chris, first and foremost, the 2024-2025 free agency period is officially here. And man, it's been a frenzy already. That's to say the least. But I want to kind of go through our initial list here. And let's start with the guys that are staying put, right? Okay, let's look at some heavy hitters here. Obviously, Jason Tatum, the new champion from the Boston Celtics, signed a 5-year extension, a $315 million supermax, Chris. Wild. With the player option. Sounds like it's the largest contract in NBA history. But his running mate, Derek White, got a nice little bag as well. 4 years, $125 million. Donovan Mitchell is staying in Cleveland, 3 years, $150. James Harden staying put with the Los Angeles Clippers, 2 years, $70 million. New up-and-coming superstar Tyrese Maxey, 5 years, $204 million. I won't name them all, but obviously Pascal Siakam is staying with the Pacers. OG Anunoby staying with the Knicks. Cade Cunningham got his rookie extension, same as Scotty Barnes. And LeBron James, we were all wondering if he might make his way to the Valley, but we all kind of knew that he was staying put with Los Angeles. And since they didn't get Klay Thompson, he signed that super, super big deal for 2 years, $104 million. Chris, I saw something crazy that just in this 2-year contract, LeBron James will make more than Michael Jordan ever did in his career, which was $94 million total. But, okay, initial list. Some heavy hitters staying put. Who is your biggest surprise so far that is staying put?
Ooh, the biggest surprise staying put. This might be a hot take, but I think Donovan Mitchell staying put in Cleveland was a bit of a surprise for me. I mean, it seemed like they were really doing well building around him the couple years before this last season, and then just kind of fizzled out and was lackluster in the 2023-2024 season. I want to expand on that, but Mike, I also want to, before I forget, piggyback off your point about this NBA money and just how absolutely crazy it is. I saw something and I just kind of double checked it. The numbers are kind of up in the air, but the highest number I saw is that in Tom Brady's entire career, he earned about $330 million, which is only just a little bit higher than what Jason Tatum is going to make on this contract. What'd you say? It's a 4-year deal?
5 years,
5 years.
315 million. Yeah, only 15 million
Oh
short
my
from Tom
God.
Brady's total career earnings. That's wild, dude.
Well, when you think about how long he played, and like Michael Jordan is the GOAT, and for LeBron to get that in just 2 years at the age of 40, man, I think LeBron staying put wasn't surprising to me. I'll say that much. But yeah, most surprising, I think might have been Donovan Mitchell. I didn't expect Klay to go to Dallas. Almost thought he would stay put and retire a Warrior, but at the end of the day, man, it's been a crazy start to the offseason, that's for sure.
It has, and I appreciate you bringing up Klay. Obviously, I want to dive a little bit more into him, but let's look at the different side of free agency, right? We got some new signings as well as some trades that started off. First and foremost, I think things that kind of kicked off was Josh Giddey getting traded to the Bulls for Alex Caruso in that swap. Caruso going to the OKC Thunder. We also had DeJounte Murray, who you see on the screen, traded to the New Orleans Pelicans for Larry Nance Jr. and 2 first-round picks, which are going back to Atlanta. But some other guys who signed, let's look at some old Suns guys. Drew Eubanks, who declined his player option. He signed a 2-year, $10 million deal with the Utah Jazz. Good luck, buddy. Eric Gordon also took a 1-year minimum to go to the 76ers. I think that was one of the conversations that we said too. Figured he would opt out and go somewhere that had some plans to possibly make a run for an NBA championship. A couple of other underrated ones, I'd say. Kentavious Caldwell-Pope signed a 3-year deal with the Orlando Magic. Kyle Anderson, 3 years, $27 million to the Golden State Warriors. Isaiah Hartenstein, who really stepped up with the injuries over in New York to the front court, but 3 years, $87 million to the OKC Thunder. And then we got some project guys, James Wiseman, Tobias Harris, stealing money once again, 2 years, $52 million from the Detroit Pistons. But then, Chris, we know, I think the two biggest heavy hitters here from the movement that's been going on in the early NBA offseason is obviously Paul George signing with the Philadelphia 76ers, 4 years, $212 million to pair up with Joel Embiid and Tyrese Maxey. And now I guess you could say Eric Gordon too. But and then the other one, Klay Thompson, sign and trade, 3 years, $50 million to the Mavericks. Golden State, they only got 2 second-round picks, man. And they had to get a third team involved as well. So the Charlotte Hornets got a nice young piece from the Dallas Mavericks and Josh Green. But Chris, I want to ask you first. So we know that Klay Thompson, he didn't go to Los Angeles, where a lot of people were saying it seemed like the Lakers would be a decent fit. LeBron James was going to take less money in order to pay Klay Thompson and kind of entice him. And it sounds like he turned down quite a lot more money that he could have got from Los Angeles. So are you really surprised about that one? I got to know, man. Klay Thompson to the Mavericks?
Yeah, that was interesting. And I think I also saw that Klay Thompson's dad said that he was disappointed that he didn't go to LA because it's kind of where he's from. He's an LA kid. It's where his family is. He's already in California, so it'd probably be a pretty smooth transition for him. He could still have his boat, but decided to go to Dallas. And I think it just speaks to the mindset of Klay Thompson, where the rings just mean so much to him. And I'm not knocking him for that by any means. I will knock him throwing it in Devin Booker's face when he's having a bad game, because it seems like if you have nothing else but championship rings, that's pretty sad. But at the end of the day, I kind of get it. He looked around, he's like, LeBron's 40, AD's made of glass, and with those two guys eating up the majority of the contract, on top of, we'll get into it, them taking Bronny James in the draft, he just didn't want to be anywhere near whatever the hell is about to happen in Los Angeles this next season. Saw the Mavericks just make it to the finals, pair up with Kyrie Irving and Luka Doncic. I always kind of considered Klay more of a 2 guard, but I know he can play the 3. He's got some size. So I do kind of wonder there, but I think it's a perfect move. He looks at how Kyrie and Luka can distribute the ball. All Klay's got to do is post up in the corner and knock down threes. If you think about it, it's the perfect situation for him.
Chris, I honestly don't love it from the standpoint from the Phoenix Suns, because the Western Conference just continues to reload. And we're going to get into what the Phoenix Suns did as well, but we know that Klay Thompson has taken a little bit of a step back, yes, but just like you said, he's not going to have to be relied upon. And he is the quintessential catch and shoot kind of guy, man. Chris, even last year, he still had pretty decent numbers, 17.9 points, 3.3 rebounds, almost shot 40% from three, 38.7 to be exact. But for a guy who's going into his 12th season, I guess technically you could say it's his 14th, but you got to remember he missed 2 years with that ACL. I think it's just an absolute perfect fit for a team that just went to the NBA Finals. It scares the living hell out of me. But want to touch on Paul George as well, Chris. Going into year 15, had a solid season for the Los Angeles Clippers. Let's be honest here. 22.6 points, 5.2 rebounds, 41.3% from three. And he was healthy. 74 games played last year. Do you think that this signing by the Philadelphia 76ers automatically catapults this 76ers team into the front runners out of the East, Chris? I gotta know.
Absolutely not. No way whatsoever. Paul George and Joel Embiid, talk about another couple of guys that are made of glass. Yeah, he did have a good healthy season last year. Paired up with Kawhi Leonard and James Harden, still doesn't get it done. I don't see how this is a teammate improvement for him. Yes, Tyrese Maxey's young. He has shown the ability to stay somewhat healthy, but I don't think it moves the needle. I think, if anything, I could see them being more successful in the playoffs just because, as we've talked about, the East is back to being the inferior, weaker conference. Paul George was looking at the West landscape and how they're only continuing to get stronger. It's like, I could maybe have a little easier route to the playoffs, maybe go up into the finals. I mean, honestly, I think it does put the 76ers probably, for my money, at number 2. I think Boston is still, with what they've done, they've only reloaded. They've only gotten stronger. They haven't lost any core pieces. I expect them to cruise right back into the finals next season. And we can play this back a year from now. I'm going to stand by that. But no, I honestly, with his history, yeah, he did have 74 games last season, but 56 the year prior, 31 the year before that, 54, 48. So he had about 4 seasons straight of being unreliable, unhealthy. Figured it out last season, but are we going to see the same Paul George? Hard to say, man.
We won't know. I do like the pairing, man. I really love Tyrese Maxey and what he's done. He just expands his game year after year, and he's really young, like we said, right? I don't think it catapults them to the top of the East. The Celtics are a powerhouse. They re-signed their guys as well. But let's keep an eye on Boston over the next couple of seasons, man, because they're going to be kind of in the same boat as the Phoenix Suns, heavily over that second apron, and it's going to get really tough to reload on some of these guys. But with that being said, I said it, the Phoenix Suns, our Valley team. Let's take a look at what they've done so far, but let's jump back just a little bit. Obviously, this all starts on April 15th when Grayson Allen signs the extension, 4 years, $70 million. I think at that point we were all very excited and still are. Grayson Allen has been a great addition to this Phoenix Suns team. Not only what he did leading the league in three-point field goal percentage, but just a catalyst on getting us out of some rough times this past season. So excited to have him back as well. But we talked about some guys that left. Let's talk about some guys that are staying. Bull, Chris, he's coming back. I think that was a big question mark for a lot of people if he was returning. Signed a 1-year deal. Same for Damian Lee. He opted out of his player option, but then he re-signed, right? Coming back on a 1-year deal. And then another one that I think was a key piece to make sure to come back, especially with a lot of things up in the air, trying to see what you can do in this free agency period, was re-signing Royce O'Neal for a nice contract for the Phoenix Suns, I would say, Chris. 4 years, $44 million. I think that's a perfect price point for him. And hopefully, the midseason trade is behind us. He's going to have a whole training camp with this team, and we'll see what we can do from there. But before we go into the additions, Chris, out of those 3 guys, Bull, Damian Lee, and Royce O'Neal, which one are you the most happy is staying here in Phoenix?
Oh, it's got to be Royce O'Neal. I mean, James Jones is out here making us think that he's playing chess, not checkers. And I hope that it pays off. I think with the 4-year deal, it really just solidifies the core for a little bit longer, which is really what we need. Because if we've had such a shakeup the past couple of years where it's been a struggle for cohesion ever since, when we had Chris Paul and DeAndre Ayton in the Monty Williams days, before we blew everything up to get Kevin Durant, that was the most cohesive this team had ever been. We were a solid unit for about 2.5 seasons straight once we acquired Chris Paul. And then ever since then, it's been a revolving door of guys coming in and out. Don't get me wrong. I like Damian Lee. I like what he can bring with his 3-point shot, but he's not a guy that you're going to want to see on the court every night for a significant amount of time. Same with Bol. He's exciting. He can come in when you're up big or down big, but down the stretch, I don't know if he's the guy that you're going to want to go to. And I think with some of these other reported signings, it kind of speaks to that with how they're building out this roster.
You're absolutely right, man. The answer for Phoenix Suns fans should be Royce O'Neal, but my answer, Chris, is Bol, because we always forget, it seems like, because of how passionate we are. This is entertainment. The game of basketball in the NBA is all about entertainment. And having lanky Bol out there doing some crazy crossovers, dunking on some guys, man, that gets me pumped. That gets me excited. And hopefully they're going to continue to invest in him and give him playing time, because he took advantage of it last year, Chris. That's for sure. Now, when it comes down to the playoffs, is he really part of the rotation? We'll have to see, because exactly like you said, some other guys that we brought into the fold. Let me pull this up for the people. The Phoenix Suns, they've made some moves, man. They have made some moves, and we're going to start right off the top with the backup big, because Drew Eubanks is no longer with us. The Suns signed Mason Plumlee, who was with the Los Angeles Clippers last year for a 1-year vet minimum, $3.3 million. This will be his 7th team since entering the league in 2013. Last year in 46 games, had 11 starts. He's your typical traditional center, right? He's not going to venture outside of the arc. He's a solid rebounder, passer, and screener. And man, Chris, ever since he switched over to the left hand from the free throw line, right, his free throw percentage has gone up crazy. He shot 70.7% last year. That's wild. Another addition, obviously, Colin Gillespie from the Nuggets. Signed him to a 2-way. I do love the Valley Suns being back in the Valley. I'm kind of with you, Chris. It's a lackadaisical name, but I love having a G League team so we can do this, man, and get guys on the floor so they're continuing to improve. But 25 years old, he was on that Nuggets championship team, but he missed all of that season with a leg fracture that he had gotten in the summer league, which would have been his rookie year. But last year technically was his rookie year. He saw some early minutes in November with Jamal Murray out, and then he was assigned to the G League Grand Rapids Gold, where he nearly averaged a triple-double with 20.4 points, 9.3 rebounds, and 10.8 assists. Also, you can add on 2.0 steals. He was the G League Player of the Month in December. Another guy that I forgot to put on this one, Chris, was we signed rookie Jalen Bridges to a 2-way contract as well. Well, I don't know if I really forgot. We'll see if he's really going to be part of this team. And plus, there's already a lot of guys on that graphic for the people. But he spent his first couple of seasons with West Virginia before transferring to Baylor in 2022. Averaged 12.2 points, 5.7 rebounds, and 1.1 steals. Shot pretty well from deep as well, 41.2%. Has a sturdy frame. It's just solid potential as a 3-and-D player if he can continue to make his shots at a high level. But the last addition, who isn't a rookie, Chris, Monte Morris. The Phoenix Suns, they got a point guard. Well, technically they got 2. This is the second one, right? Last year with the T-Wolves, it was kind of up and down, especially since he missed the first half of the season with a quad injury, and then he was traded to the Timberwolves. But obviously, we know he's not going to be a starter unless somebody gets injured. To be honest, somebody's going to get injured. But he's a veteran ball handler who can organize the offense, man. Okay, Chris, let's get a temp check. How are you feeling so far in early free agency about the moves that the Suns have made outside of their draft picks? How about that?
Okay. Outside of the draft picks, I'm gonna be so for real with you, Mike. I am extremely underwhelmed. I'm not in love with it. I think my favorite signing is Mason Plumlee. He is 6'10", but he plays like he's about 7'2". I mean, you just look at him compared to the rookie. He weighs in at 254, got about 32 pounds on the rookie, who's the same height. So he's got a big body. He knows how to move it around. Veteran presence. He is a little older. As Tallman would say, he's past his prime at 34 years old, but that's all right because we don't need him to be the starter. We still got Yusuf Nurkic, who's going to go in and start at center. And okay, yeah, if Nurk gets injured, sure, we might see some more Mason Plumlee, and then we'll see Bol Bol off the bench. These other guys, you quickly sold me without really having to do much on this Colin Gillespie thing. I mean, I kind of rolled my eyes when I saw him get signed, and it's a two-way deal. It's a two-way deal, right? So we're going to see him with the Valley Suns probably more than we are with the Phoenix Suns, and that's okay. This 25-year-old, 5 years at Villanova, 5 seasons at Villanova, got better every single year, and it sounds like last year with the Grand Rapids team, he was doing pretty good, pretty solid out there. So a lot of potential. Young guy with a high ceiling potentially. Monte Morris, man, yeah, I saw a lot of people say that, Mike. We finally got our point guard, backup point guard guy can come in. I don't know though. I don't know, man. You're the point guard with 2.3 assists per game on his career. It looks like assist wise, he averages about 3.8 assists per game. So I don't know if he's quite the superstar, godly distributor everyone's hoping he will be, but Mike, everyone knows I'm the eternal pessimist here, so I have to be a little bit doom and gloom, and I'll let you maybe bring the positivity, kind of let you take the ropes before we talk about the rookies here.
Chris the Doomer, who would have expected it? No, Chris, I'm with you. It's a bit underwhelming, but kind of expected it, right? We're in the second apron. We are handcuffed with where we sit and the ability to bring in guys. With that being said, I think they did the best they could with the resources they were able to give to these type of guys, right? I think Mason Plumlee is obviously an upgrade from Drew Eubanks. I just, like you said, like his size a little bit more. I think he'll be able to protect around the rim a little bit better. And I mean, the finishing isn't going to be too crazy, but there's still some questions in regard to what happens with Yusuf Nurkic. I don't think there's any way that he gets traded. Obviously, there's a lot of different pieces that would have to go into that. But just some slower guys at the 5. Sounds like we're going the traditional route, which is okay for me. Colin Gillespie, I think the jury's still out. I know he put up some crazy numbers in the G League, but with them bringing in Monte Morris, he is going to be the backup. I don't know how much time that really gives Colin Gillespie, but that's okay because he's on that two-way, so he'll have plenty of opportunities to continue to grow. He's still a young guy. I mean, he is only 25, but this is going to be technically his 3rd year in the league. But they did what they really were calling out and the pieces that they needed to start filling in, Chris. Like, that's just the truth about it. And that also includes our 2 draft picks with Ryan Dunn and also Ighodaro. Ryan Dunn is what? Mikal Bridges light, maybe, but I'm not going to give him too much praise on the offensive end. He is really hyper athletic with explosive physical profile, man. He's best utilized in transition. He has a huge jump, 38.5-inch max vertical leap. The one thing when it comes down to Ryan Dunn is I think on the offensive end, there's going to be a transition just because Virginia played at a super, super slow pace. Virginia technically ranked dead last in amount of possessions a team per game. So they were running everything at a very, very timid pace. He's just limited on the offensive end right now. You can look at his percentages wise, man. 23.5% from the 3-point line, 52.5% from the free throw line. But he does finish at the rim, which is where he takes his shots. He took 63% of his shots right at the rim, finished about 70%. So if he can find a way to avoid being an offensive detriment, the fundamentals and the basics are there. This kid can be an all defensive caliber guy who is on the team. You'd have to be putting him in those rankings almost every year, right? So 3-and-D had to get a little bit bigger. 6'6", got a long frame, and the same with Oso Ighodaro. we've been begging for a power forward almost the same way that we've been begging for a point guard, Chris, right? But Valley Kid from Chandler, Arizona, man, went to Desert Vista. And it's a little bit different, I think, for him as far as the offensive side, because he should have, I think, a little bit quicker of a transition because Marquette really played that NBA offensive base, right? It was free-flowing, 5 out. He's a solid playmaker and has pretty damn good ball skills for being 6'10 as well. And he can serve kind of as an offensive hub and will be able to kind of reset the offense multiple times. And there's always just positives for having those kind of big men on the floor. I mean, you see it within Yusuf Nurkic as well. Chris, before we roll into outlet point guard, how are you feeling about these two young rookies in Ryan Dunn and also Ighodaro joining the Phoenix Suns fold, man?
Oh God, I honestly, I'm okay with it. I think with what we had to work with, it was the best situation. We worked out Bronny James, and I don't think there was any world where we were going to draft him unless LeBron James was on this roster. So good riddance. Ryan Dunn, I'm sold, man. That's the beautiful thing. He doesn't have to be a good shooter because he doesn't have to shoot. We got plenty of other guys that can take on that role. Earlier today, I saw a highlight reel of Dunn on Twitter or X or whatever the hell it's called these days. And it was basically just dunks and blocks. If he can master those two things, take advantage of fast break opportunities, play stellar defense, we don't need him to take jump shots. If he can knock down the occasional three, sure. If he can get coached up by Durant and Book and these other guys and really maximize his potential, that's fine. But as a rookie this season, I'm not looking for him to do much shooting. I just need him to bring that solid defense, use that wide frame that he has, and get 2.2 blocks a game. That would be incredible. With Oso, I wonder if him and Saban Lee are going to beef a little bit. We got the Corona kid and the Desert Vista kid. I don't know. I mean, you know my preference, Mike. We love the hometown kids. You and I both born and raised in Chandler, Arizona. What is worse, though, a player from Desert Vista or a player from Hamilton?
Oh, that's a great question. I think you probably still got to say DV because as somebody who went to Corona, you had more matchups against Desert Vista. I don't know how many times you really played Hamilton because I don't think it wasn't considered Tempe Union School District, but yeah, there was just more of a rivalry between Desert Vista. So gotta go DB.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. I mean, when I think of Corona rivals, it was Desert Vista, it was Mountain Point. And basically Hamilton and Chandler were always spanking us in most sports anyway, so it didn't too much matter. But yeah, also again, like I was mentioning talking about Plumlee, love that we got a big body, a 6'10" guy that can actually move. He's pretty quick from what I've seen for a big guy and can play with his big frame, potentially also get some blocks. You see there 1.3 blocks per game at Marquette. Again, these guys don't have to shoot much. I don't know how much he's going to see the court. Ryan Dunn will probably see the court a little bit more. But hey, we got that G League team. We're building, and I like that there's a future here where we look at the other end of the spectrum with an old man like Kevin Durant. Yusuf Nurkic is no spring chicken. These guys are going to be phasing out. And with how handcuffed we are with our money situation, we're going to need some young talent that can come in the next 2, 3, 4 years and actually contribute.
And they're going to have opportunities, Chris. But yes, the beautiful thing about the Phoenix Suns bringing this damn G League team back is guys don't have to be sitting on the bench when they can be getting reps, man. That's the biggest thing. And we know, especially with G League, Team Ignite, and these guys are coming up and becoming top 10 draft picks, man. There's good talent in the G League. So it's time, Chris. It's time to dive into the outlet point guard. And today it is around the draft class of the Phoenix Suns, which is Ryan Dunn. And Oso, man, did you watch the press conference? It was funny because I was kind of doing a little bit of digging to make sure that I could pronunciate his name correctly. And James Jones didn't even want to touch his last name. Like, he only called him Oso. So I was like, okay, I got to go to a different video to figure it out. Oh, but before I pull this up, did you also see that he said he wasn't a Suns fan, Chris? Kid born in the Valley, didn't grow up a Suns fan.
Did he? Okay, I'm gonna tell me. Did he say who he was a fan of?
I'd have to go back. I think it was more so kind of players. I don't think he said
Okay.
really a specific team. He did shout out Kevin Durant. I want to say he shouted out Kobe, but I don't think he said any specific team. But we'll give him a grace period. He did say because the Suns were bad when he was growing up. So
Well, okay, you know that's fair. Are
You
you
have
going to be
to
an
keep
Eric
in mind-
Bledsoe fan? I mean,
you have to keep in mind, man, like these kids are 10 plus years older or 10 plus years younger than us. So the way that I grew up in the era of Steve Nash and Sean Marion, they were growing up with Eric Bledsoe and Brandon Knight. So it kind of makes sense, but we'll give him a pass because then he also said, well, I'm a Suns fan now, and I love to hear it, man. Welcome home, Oso. But let's take a look, man. We're going to dive. Let's just jump right into it, man. First off, we got Ryan Dunn here running out on the shot clock. He kind of gets the bailout, but I've seen this little turn over the left shoulder from him a couple of times. If he could continue to bring that to his bag, that's going to be big time. But like we said, best in transition, man, can just get up with the best of them. Super athletic. He's going to have some nice plays like that. But this is the bread and butter, right? The defensive attributes on Ryan Dunn. Quick feet, lateral, just movement at an absolute stellar pace, man. And good length to contest. And then Oso, big body, 6'10", right? Can finish in the lane with some of these guys. Obviously, it's a little bit different when you come to the big man game in the NBA. But, I mean, here's a top 10 pick right here, Donovan Clayton. The DeAndre Ayton experience is over, apparently, in Portland. But then, Chris, I cannot tell you how many times through the clips I was watching, that floater is his absolute go-to. And then the other thing we know is for his size, he's a great playmaker. And, man, excited to get the ball into his hands and see the opportunities that he can get as well. But, Chris, let's run it back up to the top here with Ryan Dunn. What are you seeing, man? How are you feeling?
yeah, I mean, I'll talk on this clip first. I mean, just overall, his patience, his ability to control the pace of play is incredible. I think you see it more so on defense. That fader was awesome. Don't get me wrong. The step back over two defenders, really. He's got the guy even coming over to help, but not even phased. Stays in his rhythm, knows exactly what he wants to do with it. He's taken that shot 100 times. And like you said there, if he can continue to refine that, that could really be a lethal weapon for him to be able to use that size and that length. I mean, I don't want to say KD-esque, but if you're going to be with a guy who does that a lot, you're going to learn something. This is one of the clips I saw in that highlight reel, man. That absolute poster that he puts on this poor kid, taking it coast to coast. And what I like is that's fundamental in a lot of ways. He's using his dribble. You see a lot of guys travel on breakaways like that. But no, he dribbled probably 3-4 dribbles down the court. He has the length where he could take some long dribbles, but instead really controlled, gets to the rim. Even the guy, I mean, there's an argument for that potentially being a charge. I wouldn't make it because he kind of steps into it. He's backpedal and stops. But, oh, man, absolutely yams it in over that guy. I love it. I love it a lot. I want to see these blocks though. If we can continue on this video.
Well, my favorite thing though is like he almost like breaks this kid's hand with this high five. Did you see that? That's great.
Oh, he doesn't care. That kid's not washing that hand for a week. But man, this is what I'm talking about. The patience, not biting on pump fakes, picking his spots, and trusting that even if he jumps, a little bit later than an average person might to try and defend a shot, he's still got that length to get up there. He's staying up on him even while he's backing up, trying to fade. I don't know who this guy is. Probably didn't get drafted, but he certainly got blocked there. And wow, that was great. I love to see that. That's the type of defense that I was talking about that we're really going to want to see from him when he's going to be coming up and trying to make a difference when he does get that playing time.
Well, and what I like here too is, it speaks to his lateral quickness as well. Like he beats this man to the spot and kind of uses his big body frame to push him out a little bit farther out onto the perimeter. You can see that real small bump right there. But I mean, when you're falling back, we know fadeaway shots are some of the lowest percentage shots that you can ever take in basketball. So
yeah,
he definitely works to put guys into tough situations and make them, make a poor decision. Like this is exactly what happens on this one here as well. Like he's just beating him to every spot, cutting off that lane, and then forcing him to an outside shot where he basically doesn't have any space anyways. I'm excited to see what he can do on the defensive side. That's for sure.
Yeah, and right here, and for me, I'm a big defensive guy. I will say I love the footwork. He's staying in front of him, using his hands in an appropriate way. He's not hand checking him, but it's all in the hips. It's all in the feet. He's guiding the defender where he wants him to be and staying in front of him the whole time. I mean, if you're gonna teach a kid, if you got a team out there, if you're a coach or you're just trying to learn basketball, watch this kid right here, because that is straight up great fundamental defense, staying in front of the defender, using his hands, closing out on shots. I mean, this is the college game. It's a lot different, a lot more fundamental in general. But if he can keep that same energy and level of intensity in the NBA, I think it's gonna bode well for him.
Well, Chris, I'm literally just mesmerized by his feet, to be honest with you. Like the plants are just absolutely perfect. He's beating the man to each spot, like we already said. But then his active hands, man, like every other dribble, hand in, get just annoying, just a pest, like the absolute epitome of a dog on the defensive end, man. If this kid continues to grow, continues to strengthen his body up, yeah, he's going to be a force on the defensive end. So I think the one thing that a lot of people are saying, and probably why he was, a later first round pick, is obviously there's a decent amount of work to do on the offensive side, obviously. But he's surrounded by three of the best shooters in the NBA. So if he can't get it done around those guys, then we'll be worried at that point. But Chris, let's roll it into Oso, man. What are you liking out of this tape so far from the big fella?
Yeah, I mean, the passing in the last, I don't want to get ahead of myself, but he's finding the lanes and good positioning, puts it on the ground there, knows where he's at. A lot of guys can get lost under the basket there, especially when big guys put it on the ground. But his ability to keep his head up, know where he's at, and finish at the rim strong. Was that an and one there? I might be mistaken, but
oh yeah.
That's another thing. It might not have been the hardest contact, but still finishing through the contact and making it look easy, it speaks volumes.
Yeah, and dude, I love these slip screens, man, because that comes down to basketball intelligence, right? There's a lot of big men kind of drudging along big man who every time they're just going to set that screen, because there is some athleticism that has to come within shifting your feet through a slip screen. But 6'10" frame, man, he's going to be able to finish with some of the best of them, that's for sure. And I like the up and under, taking the contact and staying strong through it. I think, like you were saying, what the difference between him and Mason Plumlee is almost, well, it is more than 30 pounds. It's 32 pounds. Oso is 222. Mace is 254. So I want him to get in the weight room a little bit, bulk up. But the beautiful thing is he is shifty because of his little bit smaller. The LBs aren't completely weighing him down, right, Chris?
Well, yeah, exactly. I think that's gonna help him a lot, and as far as being agile, being able to move up and down the court, take these little yip shots like that, and be quick. The lighter you are, the quicker you are, and I feel like that's just science. I'm no scientist, but I feel like that's just science. Man, these shots, these little floaters, man. I love the players that can take shots that look completely unorthodox and still knock them in. I mean, that is just impressive.
Well, talk about it, man. Here it is. Free throw line floater. Chris, I am telling you, watching his tape, he shoots this float shot from anywhere in the paint 70% of the time. Like, it is his absolute go-to shot. I was watching some tape from the Maui Invitational. I think they played UCLA and I can't remember everybody else. But literally the first 6 offensive plays that they showed in his highlight package were this step-in floater, man. So if a guy has it really dialed in, we obviously know, it's float shots like that, they're probably not the highest percentage. Sometimes it's a little bit harder to control, but when you work on it and it's just an absolute dialed in part of your game, trust it, man. Let it fly. I love it.
And let's be honest, that Providence defender is asleep in the paint right there. I mean, there's a lot that could have been done to prevent that from happening. I don't know if that's a bad scouting report or what.
Yeah, no, he didn't read the scouting report.
Regardless, impressive shot. Like I said, unorthodox, but hey, if he can knock him down, I'll take it.
Yeah, so once again, both of these guys, they got some work to do on the offensive end, but I think this is the biggest selling point, right? Like we talked about, he's a guy who can reset an offense. He has pretty damn good dribble integrity for being 6'10", and he's got an eye for the pass, man. It's like adding it. It's Yusuf Nurkic light. We got a couple of light guys on our team now. Mikal Bridges light and Yusuf Nurkic light. Obviously different aspects of their game, not as a whole, but excited to see what kind of opportunities this young guy might have, man.
Yeah, let's be honest, Mike, this is just the next generation of basketball players. At the top, when we were talking about all the free agents, Klay Thompson's 34, Paul George is 34, LeBron James is fucking 40 years old, man. These guys are aging out, and in the next 5-10 years, it's going to be a whole changing of the guard, almost like we're seeing in football right now with what's happening there. These young kids, man, they can be 6'10", they can be 7 foot and still handle the basketball and shoot the three and take jump shots. It's honestly impressive. So it used to be special, like the Kevin Durant's and the ilk were like, oh my God, he's big and he can do all this. But now it's almost expected that if you're over 6'9", that you'll still be able to handle. And I'm here for it. Honestly, I'm here for it.
I'm here for it, man. The new era is starting to arrive in the Valley of the Sun. Man, go check them out in Tempe at Mullet Arena, man. Definitely going to be checking out some Valley Suns games this year. You know, I'm always going to say it, man. I'm excited to see what this Phoenix Suns team can do this next year, obviously. It seems like they're running it back with some new pieces, and we'll see what they can do in the tough, crowded Western Conference, Chris. But with that being said, I think it's time for Reddit Reacts, man. What do you got on the docket for us today?
Let's do it, man. In 2025, I might need to do like a little intro hitter for the Reddit React, something fun. We'll work on it. But honestly, right now, Mike, I need to talk to r/Suns. I need to do it because I get it. It's the off season, guys, right? It's the off season. We're ranked in the top 50 of basketball subreddits, or so they say on their page. You guys have been slacking. It's not been what I need. It's a lot of it, Mike.
It's a snooze fest out there.
It's a snooze fest. They're reposting X posts. They're posting articles. I'm here for the memes, man. I'm here for the lulz and the community.
That's the saddest part about it, man. This segment was literally founded on the back of Reddit, and what just beauty that they were continuing to bring. So if they're slacking, man, let's go. It's time to pick it up. It's time to live up to your namesake, man, or else we're going to have to change it to X Reacts, Elon Reacts.
Literally, Tesla Reacts, whatever the hell it has to be. I'm saying we'll give you guys one more season. We'll give you one more Sun season because in season, I've seen what you guys can do, and it is impressive, I will say. But so, Mike, I had to have that conversation with them to let you know that not all of these, actually, most of these are not going to be Reddit posts, but we'll call it Internet Reacts. Still Reddit Reacts.
No,
Fuck
it's still a Reddit Reacts. Let's roll it.
Let's go ahead and do it. So this first one, we have the Olympics coming up, Michael, and Team USA. It's been decided, and we're gonna see what they got. But I found this graphic which got me absolutely hyped. We got Independence Day tomorrow, July 4th, and boy, if this doesn't scream Eagles and fireworks, I don't know what does. This is your 2024 USA men's national team. I could cry. This is probably. I'll just ask you: is this the best team that they could have assembled?
I think this is the best team that they could have assembled, Chris. Obviously, you got your guys who are on this, the tail end of their career, but they're going to be basically given the opportunity to say yes or no. And those guys I'm talking about are LeBron James and Kevin Durant. You can kind of start to lump in Stephen Curry a little bit with that as well, Chris. but the fresh faces that are joining this USA team, Anthony Edwards, just absolute budding superstar within this league. Tyrese Halliburton, man, that's one that I'll always kind of stay up at night and be like, that man, that's the one that got away. We took sticks over him, but let's not live in the past. And then you just spread out. You still got some size with Anthony Davis. Bam Adebayo is going to be able to be a defensive pest alongside Drew Holiday. Kawhi Leonard, if he's healthy too, like, oh my goodness, Chris. Like you said, if I wasn't already jazzed, now I'm shooting through the damn roof for Paris to get underway on, what is it, July 26th? Let's go. I can't wait any longer.
It's gold or bust. I mean, that always has to be the expectation for Team USA. We have the most gold medals in basketball, more than any other country, probably almost 5 times more than any other country. I think another country's only won it 5 or 6 times. Could be wrong. Fact check me in the comments. I got to talk about this edit, though, because I didn't notice this before, but I'm noticing it now. You got Book and Dwight Howard in their Team USA jerseys. I'm pretty sure that was from the FIBA tournament a few years back. The Olympic jerseys that KD is rocking. Joel Embiid, it looks like he's wearing a 76ers jersey.
He's in a Sixers jersey. Because this is his first time that he's going to play as a USA participant, I think, right?
I believe so. Yeah, because he's from Cameroon.
Yeah.
I don't think Cameroon has an Olympic team.
I don't know enough about the FIBA circuit to know what his past was, if he played for Cameroon or anything like that. But this is the first official time that Joel Embiid is going to play for USA. And wow. I can't believe it, man. This is a powerhouse. I do like this graphic, though, because, hey, our boy Devin Booker is right in the front, and then Katie is right in the center as well, man. I'm going to let it fly, man. Let's fucking go, dude.
Absolutely. And also, I don't know if you noticed this. It also looks like Kawhi Leonard might be wearing a Clippers jersey over there.
Yeah.
Is this his first time?
Once again, this might be. I feel like just with his injury history, like the past couple Olympics, he hasn't been able to play because he was hurt.
Yeah.
So,
no.
Okay. Because you think about it, the last Olympics technically happened in 2021. That was the year that the Suns and the Clippers met in the Western Conference Finals, and Kawhi was hurt for that series.
Oh, okay.
So the timetable probably didn't match up. He wasn't ready to go. But, I don't know. Maybe that's kind of like Kawhi didn't play the second half of that Clippers Mavericks series because he finally did want to play for USA. So he was just like, oh, the knee's not feeling as great this time. But who knows, man.
Priorities. The last thing I'll say, man, I am with you. I'm so stoked for the Olympics. It's one of my favorite sporting events of all time. Basketball is obviously my favorite sport of all time. I saw an edit on TikTok the other day that got me so fucking pumped. And I don't know. I think it was, I don't know. It was some politician, maybe Ronald Reagan or someone like that. But he was basically in a speech saying, like, in Germany, you're German, and you have to be born in Germany, and all these other countries, you have to basically be born there. But America is the only country where you can come from anywhere around the world and you can become an American. And so if anyone has a problem with Joel Embiid being on this team, come and fight me, because I will fucking throw down. Joel Embiid, welcome to America. You are an American, and I am proud to have you represent us in the Olympics.
Yes. Welcome, Joel. Kick rocks if you ain't about it. But Chris, wait, hold on. During that last one, we literally just got some breaking news from Adrian Wojnarowski hitting us up, man. He's saying DeMar DeRozan has been traded to the Sacramento Kings in exchange for Kevin Huerter, Colby Jones, the 2027 second round pick. Dang.
Wait, is this actually Woj? What the?
I don't know, maybe. But whoever has the YouTube account for Adrian Wojnarowski, appreciate that update. Chris, what do you think about that? DeMar DeRozan to the Kings.
DeMar, if this is real, genuine breaking news, and I think it might be, because DeMar DeRozan was in I think some trade rumors with the Warriors, and they declined that in exchange for Klay. Honestly, that is pretty good for the Kings, man. He's going to pair up really nice with De'Aaron Fox. They still got DeMontis Sabonis. So only getting stronger. DeMar is kind of in the prime of his career. So again, Mike, the West gets stronger and the East gets weaker.
Yikes. Yikes, 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 man. Well, appreciate that Woj bomb if it is true. If it's not, then that's probably good because another Western Conference team doesn't get better. But Chris, what do you got next on the docket for Reddit Reacts?
Yeah, man, I'm sorry. That kind of threw me off. Holy shit. But while we're talking about the Olympics, it's not only the men that play in the Olympics. We also have the women playing in the Olympics. Let me pull this up here. And Mike, two things I'm not sure if you knew. One, did you know that the WNBA All-Star Game is going to be in Phoenix, Arizona this year?
Yes, I did.
Very good. Did you also know that the WNBA All-Stars are only one team, and they're going to be playing the USA Women's National Team in their All-Star Game?
Chris, I'll be honest with you. I found out about that today.
As did I.
And I think it did happen the last time that the Olympics were around. That's awesome, dude. That is amazing, man. That's good practice for the USA Women's National Team. And then some up-and-coming stars in the WNBA get to go up against the best of the best, man. That's awesome. Got some Mercury. Well, actually, dude, there's 3 different Mercury players on the USA Women's National Team. That's awesome. Kaylee Cooper, Brittany Griner, and, of course, Diana Taurasi. Chris, I'll ask you, man, how do you feel about Caitlin Clark being left off of the USA Women's National Team?
I know a lot of people really feel some type of way about it. I think if she had made it, it was deserved, but she's a rookie, Mike. She's young. Greatest. You can say she's the greatest women's college player of all time, but she's a rookie. She's a rookie. These women that are on the USA Women's National Team have been in the league for a while. They have familiarity with each other. They've probably played in the national capacity at some level. I don't think it's as big of a snub as people are making it out to be, because at the same time, again, when we talk about Caitlin Clark, who else do we talk about? Angel Reese. She's also not on the USA Women's National Team, and she is probably one of, if not the best. Okay, she's one of the best players in the WNBA season this year. She's leading the league in rebounds, absolutely crushing it. Say what you will about her, but she's also one of the best. I am very intrigued. I want to see her and Caitlin Clark do some crazy tag team shit in this WNBA All-Stars game. And honestly, I'm kind of rooting for the rookies in this one. It would be hilarious if Caitlin and Angel came out with a chip on their shoulder, wanted to show that they did deserve a spot on this roster. What up, Royce? I think my wife just let him in, but yeah, no, I don't know what you think, Mike, but I don't think it's as big of a snub as people are making it out to be.
No, it's not. And I got to say a shout out to the big cat, my nephew over there, Royce. What's going on, man? But no, Chris, yeah, rookie, got to go through the motions before you get put onto this USA Women's National Team. This is a absolutely star-studded caliber unit for the USA women's side as well. And there's obviously some really great guards already. 2 of them I'm seeing are Sabrina Ionescu and Kelsey Plum. So it makes sense, right? Caitlin Clark is going to be here for a long time. She's going to have longevity as long as she wants to play. Her name just has such notoriety already. So she will have her time in the limelight of USA women's basketball. But for now, this is an awesome, awesome experience for the game of basketball as a whole, Chris. How often do you ever see national teams playing against league all-stars? Probably more in other countries, but here in the US, doesn't happen. So this is an absolute treat. I'll definitely be tuning in on July 20th. Because unfortunately, I can't go because the game's sold out. But I think their All-Star Saturday is still available. So I don't know. Well, might take a look at some tickets for that.
I think we were talking about this on the last roundtable we did. Do you know what was cheaper? Was it the game against Mercury Fever, or would the WNBA All-Star game have been a cheaper ticket?
Well, at this point, I wouldn't be surprised if it is either comparable or the All-Star game is a little bit more expensive because Caitlin Clark's going to be there anyways. So I think we were looking at matchups against what the ticket prices were for the Indiana Fever versus Mercury versus the Connecticut Sun versus the Mercury, because the Connecticut Sun have been the best team in the WNBA.
Right.
And it wasn't even close. Like, for a team that is the best team in the league, it was still like you could get tickets for $25, where Caitlin Clark, you couldn't sniff the inside of the arena for under $80, So fun times still keep rolling in the WNBA, Chris. But what do you got next, man?
Yeah, no, I'm with you there. I'll probably tune in. I'll probably watch it. I think it's going to be a good time. But man, it's great for the women's game that they've been getting this much attention, especially in an Olympic year. I think the concept is absolutely incredible. It's USA Women's National Team versus the WNBA All-Star. It should be good. We're going a little long, so I'll cut one of the ones I had that was just more of me just talking shit. But Mike, we'll actually get a Reddit react in here. Why don't we do that? Why don't we get an actual genuine Reddit react in here? We knew when Bronny James got drafted to the Los Angeles Lakers that the memes were going to be aplenty, and I had to pick two of my favorite. There were enough of them. This one comes courtesy of r/NBA memes. I hope the Lakers win the next championship so LeBron and Bronny can recreate this. And you see Jason Tatum and his son Deuce. After Tatum won the championship, he's lifting him up Simba style while the confetti's falling in the background. Oh my goodness, Mike. What do you think of this?
See, there we go, Reddit. Step it up a little bit. But of course, it's not Phoenix Suns Reddit. It's NBA memes Reddit. You know what's the truth of the matter with this meme specifically, Chris? It honestly wouldn't be that far off, because Bronny James is a lot smaller than people realize. Right at the combine, he was 6'1". Have you seen some of his new pics within his Lakers gear? I know is he 19? Dude, he looks like a kid. Like, he is a kid. I get it. But like, oh no, dude. He's going to have some work to do. Like, I know he's built out and that kind of stuff, but he is going to be heavily, heavily undersized. And for his skill set, he's going to have a lot of work to do, but this would be great. LeBron just towers over him, so this should be easy for him to just lift Bronny up. But Chris, I think the only time that they'd be able to celebrate any kind of actual win for a championship is the in-season tournament.
There it is.
That's the only time. So
hey, back-to-back in-season tournament champs, baby. Let's see the Lakers do it. And hey, if LeBron celebrates even half as hard as he did when they won the last in-season tournament, we might see a recreation. I don't have a meme or a video of it, but I did think it was funny that someone was like, I don't know if it was Barstool or someone was like, oh, Bronny's already learning to lie like LeBron. They asked him in his introductory press conference how much he thought about playing with his dad, and he said he didn't think about it at all. He just wanted to work hard and get drafted, and he didn't think about playing with his dad at all. It's never even crossed his mind. And you know that's just a load of shit.
Yeah, I saw those. It's just like cap, all cap, everything cap. Bronny is LeBron's son. That's for damn sure. Chris, I mean, we weren't surprised that Bronny ended up getting drafted to the Los Angeles Lakers, right? But were you surprised?
That's the only way he was getting drafted. That's the
right.
Way he was getting drafted.
But were you surprised about the rumors about Rich Paul calling teams and basically saying if they drafted him that he would go to Australia? You heard about that too, right?
I didn't know the Australia part, but I basically heard that Rich Paul is telling teams to not draft him because he wasn't going to play for him, which hilarious and not surprising at all. That seems like that's how LeBron and his camp operate. Rich Paul wouldn't have a career without LeBron, that is for sure. Props to him. Yo, I mean, he has more clients other than LeBron James, so I'm not saying he's a one-trick pony or anything.
Hey, sometimes it's who you know. We know this, right? But I can't remember where it was exactly from, but I did hear something that kind of made me chuckle too, where there was a guy who, I don't know if he got drafted, but he got signed, to the summer league team or whatever, or maybe a two-way deal. But he's part of Clutch Sports, and Rich Paul is his agent. And it's like, what do you think that these guys who are trying to fulfill their lifelong dream as well, who have entered their name into the NBA draft and all they're seeing over Twitter and social media during the second round is that their specific agent, is calling teams to tell them not to draft a different person. Like,
Yeah.
puts things in perspective. I don't know if I would be a part of Clutch after that, but that's besides the point, man.
No, that's a great point. And I mean, again, while we're talking about Rich Paul and how he gets his contract, he got LeBron 2-year max extension as the most ancient player in NBA history. Now we have, well, okay, that might have been Vince Carter, actually. I'm sorry. LeBron's not there yet. But Mike, I don't know if you saw this little tidbit. This is from Barstool Sports. Bronny James just signed a 4-year, $7.9 million deal when last year's 55th pick signed a 2-way contract worth $560K. So my quick math says that that's nearly $2 million a year as a rookie and a second round pick. Has a rookie ever made $1 million a season? Even $1 million a season?
Yeah. Oh yeah. It obviously depends where you're picked. This is crazy, Chris. I don't even know where to begin. I'm literally almost speechless if this is true. So it almost makes $7.5 million more than the same guy last year who was picked in the exact same spot. LeBron James, we've known this forever. LeBron James, wherever he goes, he's the face of the league. It's starting to change, right? I don't know if he's really considered the true face of the league anymore, but he is, I guess, just such an absolute dominant presence that he is taking over for Rob Pelinka and sending out the contracts to be signed as well. This is crazy to me, Chris, because we're also still talking about a player. Forget that it's LeBron James' son. We're talking about a player who literally almost died, 18 months ago? And then when he came back to the game, was absolutely mediocre, played on one of the worst teams in the Pac-12, and didn't even average 5 points a game, made no impact. And he's already getting this kind of a bag. Crazy.
Yeah, he has so much to prove. And I think when I went on draft night, the night he got drafted, I don't have my tweet pulled up here, but I tweeted something along the lines of basically saying how cool it is that Bron and Bronny are going to be able to play together. And they're also going to get to retire together too, because let's be honest, Bronny James is not going to have a long career in the NBA. He is, as soon as his 2 years is up, the Lakers are going to cut him. Nobody's going to pick him up. Maybe he can go play overseas, but I mean, Bronny, you don't even have to play in the NBA. Your father is a literal billionaire. You're going to be set for life. If you work hard, if you become great, that's awesome. You overcame a lot. Your dad overcame way more than you'll ever know. But man, I do think that Bron and Bronny are also going to retire at the same time. That's just me.
Chris, oh my gosh. That might be the best low blow that I've heard throughout the entire meme-dom of the LeBron James and Bronny saga. I absolutely love it. But hey, at least he can say that unlike the other GOAT in Michael Jordan, he was one of his kids who made it to the league. So, hey, impressive. It's still going to be something to experience the first time that they both get to play together on the Los Angeles Lakers, man. I will be tuning in. I hate the Lakers, but this is a historic event. That's for damn sure.
No, without a doubt. And I think it's going to be very interesting to see how JJ Redick navigates this. He is basically the same age as LeBron James. I think they're only separated by a few months. How much playtime is Bronny going to get? Is he going to be on the end of the bench? I'm sure we'll definitely see them on the court together, but just how much is it going to be? Anyway, I think we're going to wind down here pretty soon, but I do have one more thing that I want us to react to, and you more specifically, Michael, because this is definitely in your wheelhouse. Let me pull this up right here. We got another book color wave coming out this month, actually. I'm sorry, the middle end of this month, I think July 18th. according to the reports, and that is the Nike Book One Lilac Bloom colorway. Might be my favorite. Mike, what do you think?
There you go. I like it, Chris. This is your favorite, really? This one?
Maybe. I like the Havens a lot. That might be it might be between the two.
I like the Havens. Pretty decent court feel, man. Not the most comfortable shoes that I've ever worn on the basketball court. I don't think I've ever officially done like a breakdown since I finally have been able to wear them, because the first ones over here, that first pair, it's the very first pair that ever dropped. I told myself I wasn't going to play in those, but I knew I had to get the Havens. So been nice. This is as close as we're probably going to get to any of the player exclusives that we saw from Devin Booker, and specifically the purple metallic ones that he had that were based off of a famous Air Jordan 1 silhouette. But I've been kind of sad about this entire Book One release as a whole, right? I think they did everything within limited quantities, especially for some. We talk about the orange pairs. That was only 500, 600, 700 pairs, whatever. Wasn't even released here in Phoenix, released it in Miami. The first ones were kind of limited as well. And then it was just slow rolling for some of these colorways. And as last I had seen, those rattlesnake pairs, the all white, have been sitting on the Nike app in every single size for about 2 months now. So it's kind of starting to flame out. I'm really wondering how long they're going to push these silhouettes out, how many we're going to get, because Ja Morant has gotten, my goodness, 20, if that, for his first pair, the Ja ones. And this is only number 5 of the different silhouette colors. Are they going to go mid-season and then announce the book too? It's all so different with Nike, especially with the new athletes that they have. Whereas if you think about it, KD every year, like clockwork, it's coming out. Same, it seems like with Luka and Jordan Brand as well. But book, I think things are still up in the air. Haven't really heard anything about a book 2. Haven't really heard anything about how people have truly been enjoying them over the past couple of months. And I think it was kind of glaring to see that the last release before this one had been sitting for a while. So I'm excited that you're excited for these, Chris, because right now you might have a pretty damn good chance to secure your first pair of book ones, because it seems like we're kind of over the hill with excitement for this first silhouette. But I'll answer the question that I know you're going to ask. Yes, I am going to be going for these. I'm going to be trying to pick these up. I think these are clean as well. This will be another pair that I will play in for sure.
Yeah, I think the purple makes sense. We saw Booker play in those purple Kobe's for so long. I think this was only a matter of time. I honestly kind of almost forgot that the orange colorway released, or as I used to say, color wave. But they're just so unattainable, man. You're not going to get your hands on a pair of those for less than probably $500 to $1,000, if not more.
Depending on the size. I mean, for me, for size 14, I'd be surprised if I could get anything for under $3,000.
Jesus Christ.
It's just because of how limited it is. It's a little bit different material as well, some more premium. And it's that like alligator snake skin is a little bit more throughout the panels of the shoe. Like the rattlesnake one has the snake skin, but man, that orange pair is so clean and crispy and has the best materials. That's why it was limited. But yeah, I don't know. I don't think I'm pulling the trigger for $3,000 books right now.
Yeah, no, that'd be tough. I think the reason I haven't pulled the trigger on the rattlesnakes or the restock of the blue ash ones is just those colors just don't really intrigue me very much. I think with the rattlesnake ones, it's very niche. Like if it didn't have, I get like the Valley reference and like the uniqueness of it, but having the logo be that rattlesnake pattern is not always easy to put together an outfit with. If they were just white and black, I think a lot of people, especially how he's marketed this as being more of a casual shoe, it would make it more intriguing. But I mean, again, I guess I'm kind of a hypocrite because how well are you going to coordinate an outfit with purple sneakers? But like you're saying, these are a pair of shoes that I would get and I would play in. versus those other ones. Maybe I would, maybe I wouldn't. But if you're looking for a more casual shoe, maybe the Havens would be the way to go. Maybe the first launch, what was it? The cream color, that would be the way to go. But I don't know. I do think I just have to point out, I think it's also pretty funny that they say the color is barely grape.
The colorway listings for any shoe are always laughable, man. They're so funny. But the one thing I will say about the Book One, I need a few more silhouettes to really be happy, I think, with how the entirety of the Book One launch kind of went. Like, if we're switching over to the Book Two, if he does get, he should get a second shoe, but like if he does get the Book Two, we got to be in double digits with the silhouette colors, the different ones, because every other line gets multiple. And to only be at 5 about 6 months out, we need some more. I need some more options to go for and tickle my fancy, if you would.
Yeah. Let me ask you this, Mike. When we're talking about the Book Two potentially, I want to know what your wish is for it. Do you want to see him stick with his idea of it also being a casual shoe as well as a basketball shoe, or do you want him to see him lean more heavy into making it a through and through basketball shoe?
Like tech wise, see, that is so great, man. I think it was a nicety from Nike to let him kind of go down this path to fit within who he is, right? Like a shoe, if you're a true sneakerhead, shoes can tell stories, and these shoes tell the story of Devin Booker, right? Outside of the basketball court, we know he gets fiery on it, but he is a super even-keeled guy. He takes care of his family. He has his close-knit friends. He got his dog Haven. Like, he's a super down-to-earth, super casual kind of guy. And you can see it within all of these shoes, and specifically the colors and the base patterns within these. Now, I wish there was a little bit more flair with some of them. I mean, we saw it a little bit on the Hike one, which is the green pair that had the orange mid or under or sole or whatever. Like, I didn't get that pair, but I want to play in these, right? Like, this is a basketball shoe. I want to see how it feels on court. And I've had a good experience with the Book Ones. Like, I keep switching between that and the KD 16s. I think I'm going to get a pair of the 17s coming up here soon as well. But to answer your question, Chris, I think at this point, I want to see it go a little bit more to the tech side. Make sure that we're having, uniform lateral structure within the shoe. The padding is good, so I haven't had really any issues with ankles or anything like that. But, getting full zoom within the entire midsole and heading towards true tech within his next shoe, I think is where he should go, because the market is there for him to get up there with Anthony Edwards. Like, not only is the Ant 1 one of the best initial releases for a signature athlete, probably within the past 5 to 10 years, but it has some good tech as well. And it's something that people are ready to go on the court with. I think people were scared to jump on the court with the Book One just from the initial look. So it's a basketball shoe, man. Let's get it on the court. Let's make sure that it's tech savvy and we're playing at the best of our ability in the Book Twos.
Yeah, I think I'm right there with you, Mike. I do want to see it have the more tech in it, like you're saying, look more like a basketball, feel more like a basketball shoe, because then maybe that'll help with marketing as well. When you see more players playing in it, advocating for it. We did see some players playing in the Book One and supporting Devin Booker, but for my money, it doesn't look like a basketball shoe. And from what you're telling me, it doesn't fully function as a basketball shoe either. So a lot of room for opportunity here. I'll be interested to see what he does. Should he get a second shoe? And I absolutely think he should. But Mike, that's it for Reddit Reacts.
I love it. Devin Booker's getting a second shoe. We know this. And I'll be here for it. And I'm so excited, man. The summer keeps rolling along. The Olympics are right around the corner. Devin Booker and Kevin Durant and Brittany Griner and Diana Taurasi. Oh my gosh, man. there was a couple of weeks where I was a little bit nervous about where the state of basketball would be, but man, this is a beautiful part of the summer. Chris, before we get out of here, do you got anything else for the people tonight?
Man, all I got to say is I want to wish everyone a happy Independence Day. I hope you got the day off tomorrow. I hope you're going to be enjoying it with friends and family. Be super careful around those fireworks. Don't want you losing any fingers because you're going to need all those to make a nice, clean, crispy jump shot out there on the basketball court. But Mike, always a pleasure to join you on Past the Outlet, and I look forward to many more in the future.
Episode 20, man. We keep it rolling along. Appreciate everybody who joined us today here on the live, watching on playback, listening on podcast streaming services. Make sure you leave a like, leave a comment. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you know when we're going live and you can keep up with all the Valley sports action. But like I said, this was Past the Outlet, episode 20. I'm your co-host, Michael Benjamin. That's Chris Patrick. We'll see you guys next time. And have a great 4th. Peace.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Ball is life, plain and simple. You know, ask any baller. If you know, you know.
The game has changed, but it's still the same. You want it, go get it.
Shazam!
The inbounds pass comes into Jordan. Here's Michael at the foul line. The shot on Elo. Ah! The Bulls win! They win it!
Mike, you're honestly telling me that he's top 5.
Yeah.
Top 5 of all time.
No question about it.
Booker, this is for the win. Got it. Wow.
The ruling on the floor is made basket.
You know, one thing's for sure. Over at Valley Sports Plug, you're never going to catch us slipping. With the first overall pick, the Phoenix Suns select
3, 2,